Hello and welcome to the Sheep Seats. I'm your host, Matthew, aka Sheep, aka third place Dark Sheep, and we have a special edition tonight of the Sheep Seats. Let's bring in our guests. We've got Patrick, we've got Viper. What's going on, guys?
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going great. I guess for those who are, I don't know why you'd be watching this if you're not aware, but a couple of weekends ago, we all got together for the first time in the Dawg Bowl, held in Dallas, Texas, by Underdog. I'll be honest, Patrick, I didn't get much time to talk to you. I talked to Viper a little bit, so why don't you just give us a quick intro on yourself and what got you to the Dawg Bowl?
Yeah, this is my first year kind of in the daily drafts. I kind of have always been just more of a DraftKings, just DFS type of guy. But Dave, who I'm sure you guys are familiar with, also works over at ETR, kind of told me about the daily stuff this past off season, and I just said, okay, well, I'll give it a shot this year. And so this is my first year doing the daily drafts and kind of just getting used to everything. And I wasn't really, I wasn't even chasing like the dog bowl stuff. I was just doing like maybe one or two entries up until I came in second in one of the BRs.
Okay.
And so then I had some bankroll, and then I just was like, okay, I'll fire some. And I think the week I got the ticket was I did like 20 to 30 maybe. And yep, that's the week that I got it. So.
Wow.
Awesome. And Tyler, who we all met there, is he's doing his own live stream somewhere out there in the internet land. But it was awesome to meet you too. Emo Cowboy, as he's known, inappropriate joke maker, as he's also known.
He's an amazing human being, that guy.
He's just as much in person as he is online. Speaking of people who I knew online first before I met Best Ball Viper, what got you to the Dawg Bowl?
I was very into drafting the dailies on Underdog. And, I mean, I can't believe there was a place for, like for me. I was the commissioner of a long time league here in New York that was very high stakes. I mean, and that was the best day of the year, the draft. I mean, it was Christmas. It was everything. And now I get to do it every day. And I fell into this pretty hard. I think I was in the finals of the puppy, maybe the first puppy or the second puppy,
Okay.
and a couple of the others, and then Nez and Numi and sorry about that, and John got, they rekindled my love for baseball.
Yeah.
So I mean, I was kind of more known for baseball, but I'm really a football person, and now hockey too. And I don't do the NBA because I think that's a dark hole, man. I'm not. I don't want to be a sob story. I don't know if did you read that generous thing that I Was Inverted wrote. He was like a guy. His name was I Was Inverted.
Yeah.
I've seen his name in when I do drafts. I've seen that name.
He was constantly in drafts, and he did very well. And then he got into sports that he didn't love, and it really, like if you're doing this and it's like it's about like the sheets and the numbers and like more power to you. But I don't want to be there. If I lose the joy and the passion, I'm gonna stop for a while.
Right.
And that's what what got me here. I love it so much. Like I can't wait to go on and draft with Nez on for goal line stands. I like the 12-person drafts. I really do. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you try to qualify last year for the Dawg Bowl?
I don't think so. I don't remember, to be honest with you. I was doing so many drafts, but I don't think I was. It wasn't in the forefront. That's for sure.
Yeah. It was definitely not as organized and set up, a little bit differently with different contests, different buy-ins each week. That's something I think was really nice this week or this year, that they figured out how to structure it. So, they weren't getting overlay, and, they've made it such an event that all of us sickos were firing, some more than others at it. Patrick, do you play any other sports on Underdog?
No, I'm kind of like Viper here, where if I'm not like passionate about the NFL is really the only sport that I really even pay attention to. So like I get it, you could use projections, and I know some people do that and just like auto draft NBA or whatever it is, but like to me it's like I would, if I lost money in a sport that I just don't really pay attention to that much, I would just be angry. So like I've put like a little bit, like I've done like some of the $3 ones, like 20 max, just to see like how it goes. But like, yeah, to me, if I'm not like in it, like really paying attention, watching this, I'm not gonna put money on it.
Yeah. And I'm, as most viewers of the show are maybe disappointed that we're not doing a baseball draft tonight. I'm baseball focused first, and then
Okay.
and then football is kind of just like a secondary. I don't even love watching a ton of football, to be honest.
Oh my god!
But that's where the big prizes are, and I'm with you on basketball, Viper. And golf. I've tried them both, but I like football and baseball because they're event based sports. Like they're a lot. I feel like there's a lot more game theory, at least that I can wrap my head around.
I mean, the big inning really changed it for me for baseball. It's like the red zone every day.
Yeah.
Every single day. It's like, except I don't, just, Major League Baseball, just like so many other things. It's like, why can't they just do it the entire? I mean, why do they do it for 3 hours?
Right. Yeah.
And if they had like a Scott Hansen, they would increase their because the big inning is so great. It's as good as the red zone, except they just cut it off every week, every night. It's just like, okay, we're done. It's like, what? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I've always been, playing baseball DFS and then Underdog stuff. Baseball is always on in the background at night, while doing whatever else. And that's, how I grew up, baseball games on the radio all the time. But yeah.
So when you're drafting like these 12-mans, these 6-mans, you're going purely off of like a spreadsheet, like numbers game to you. It's not like you're watching football, like paying attention to a bunch of the intricacies. You're just kind of going off of just straight numbers.
For the most part, yeah. And I don't watch zero football. I'll watch a lot of times island games. I'll watch when they're on, and yeah, I'll also consume. I'll watch videos that people are making and stuff each week.
So you consume some like content, like in addition to it.
Yeah, and for better or worse, I'll still somehow manage to form player opinions even if I'm not watching it. Just so I guess let's move
Chief, I
into it.
just want to say, I think you ignited a fire personally in the Dawg Bowl this year, because you were a guy that wasn't a football guy, and you won 2 tickets right away.
Yeah, week 1 and week 3.
Yeah, man, that had to have felt so good.
And you didn't do that many entries.
No, I did 10 to 20 each week. Yeah.
God, that's crazy.
And then I did end up traveling for about like 3 or 4 weeks for work that I wasn't able to enter towards the end. So some forced bankroll management, because I probably would have kept fighting for that third one. But yeah, so for me, I had my plan going into it was, okay, here's what I had won from, what I had from baseball season left over.
Wait,
I
hold
took.
on, hold on 1 second. Is somebody there? Sorry. Sorry.
Okay.
So weird.
No, so I had I knew I had taken most of the season long football season off. I just wasn't feeling it, which turned out to be pretty good because I had like 3 teams out of the 30 teams I drafted. Actually,
This is like Best Ball Mania.
yeah, but I did just mostly low dollar stuff. I did more last year. I was feeling it more last year.
Yeah, though. So like when I said at the beginning that this is my first year doing like for the past several years I've done like all the Best Ball Manias, like season long drafts, but I just hadn't been in like the daily stuff till this year. So
okay,
I'm familiar with all that stuff.
yeah, and I took the break, so I had basically what I had probably spent the previous year on like Best Ball Mania, and I did like 1 or 2 high stakes last year. I said, okay, I'm gonna be comfortable losing this amount, and then I'm gonna stop fighting. I don't know how much I'm gonna play each week. we got Louis joining the call.
He said he can't hear. I don't know if he can hear.
Okay, you're muted there.
You guys sounded like you were on. I sounded like I was on Quaaludes. You were speaking in. I couldn't believe it. That's so crazy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. Somebody was at my
no, it's all right. We're just hanging out.
Okay.
But yeah, and then I was like super lucky that first week so that I could say, here's that number times 2. I'm comfortable losing, and then I ended up petering out at the end just due to life obligations. But that was my thing because the event just looks so awesome, and I've never really had any sort of built up big enough bankroll on DraftKings or whatever to chase those qualifiers, and just wanted to experience the live thing. So that's what landed me here.
Yeah, it was such a good. Oh no, sorry. I was just gonna say, yeah, what you said. It was such a great experience, and they did such a good job with just like the whole event. It was great.
I'm curious about how your draft day went, because on draft day, like, some people got there to the house and cracked 2 beers, and some of the draft guys were they were there already. I got myself a cocktail and I drank a few sips of it. At first I'm like, I can't. And we were like hanging around for like an hour, just kind of hanging out before it started, and I'm just like taking sips. I'm like, I can't finish this right now. I know Viper, you're a longtime sober guy, so you didn't have that distraction. But how are you feeling that like hour before the draft started?
I mean, I was in complete shock from the second I got there, because everyone was treating me. I mean, I thought it was because I'm like, I'm a little different, and everyone was treating me a little weird. And I was like, what's, like, even Josh was. And I was like, what the fuck? And then they didn't tell me before that announcement. I don't know if you know that.
Oh,
No, I learned because they wanted to get it on camera. It's all about TV now. And they got it on camera. I was shocked.
So for those that weren't aware, Viper had come into the event with 1 seat, which got you 3 drafts. And like right after they did the initial announcement, okay, hey, we're starting the drafts, and some Rudman said, hey, we had an individual that qualified have I don't know, not an illegal account, but they couldn't be verified. Their account couldn't be verified, essentially. So the person that was in 4th place that week got bumped up to 3rd place, which lo and behold was you, Viper. Was that the same week that you qualified for the first one?
Well, I mean, that's why I was such a psycho about people like congratulating me during the day of the football, because I was in first, second, and third that week.
Oh, wow.
And a minute left. I think it was like, I don't remember which player, but I think it was George Kittle, got like maybe 10 yards. And it moved me down to third, fourth, and fifth.
Okay, man.
And I was like, it's going to happen again. And Patrick, it was going to happen again. Because
so that was absolutely crazy. Like, so when I about an hour before like the games ended, like I was just kind of sitting down and I was pretty much just hoping for, because two of my teams were, I mean, I didn't cash at all, and then the one that had Josh Allen and Shakir left, I was just like hoping, because I had Josh Allen and Addison on that team, which was an absolutely crazy combo in a 108-man field. And so I was just like, okay, if I can min cash, because obviously Jalen Warren, my last round pick, didn't do much of anything, and then Hawkinson and London didn't do anything. So I was just like, maybe I could get a min cash. Like that's all I was hoping for, like extra 5-10K. And then I was like going out talking to my wife like outside, and she's like, so how's it going? and at that time I was like, yeah, I'm hoping for just like, I have no shot at any big money today, but I'm hoping for like 5-10,000 extra. Like that would be great. She was like, okay, well, just keep me like in the loop. And I was like, okay. And then as I hang up, I see Josh Allen scores like another rushing touchdown, and I'm like, okay. And then I walk back in, and everything just accelerated from there. It was just like one after another.
It was the highest scoring game of the fucking year. That's what it was.
It was insane.
Hey!
We got fellow Josh Allen leaderboard screamer Nick, who
oh my god,
I can't remember where he ended, but he ended up screaming up the leaderboard too.
He was right there, and I mean, if one more person would have congratulated me, and then Dave, who he's such a good guy, the guy you work with.
Yeah, Dave is awesome.
I don't want to keep us on too long, but is it true that your dog got like 1 million views on YouTube or something like that?
Oh, so yeah, I have that. Yeah, the whole Patrick Barnes YouTube. I created that name back when I started. I forget when I created my.
I thought those guys were being bullshit artists.
No, yeah, so
I've got to go look at that right after this.
Yeah, I have like a YouTube, and then like TikTok, all the social media apps I would follow.
I'll find you out for sure, because Louis, you hear that? 1 million views.
He's old, and he's turning 16 next month, but I was just trying to get that golden dog bowl just for him, but I'll have to wait till next year.
I'm sorry.
No.
I would. I mean, my dog died in July. I know, believe me.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, she was my entire heart. But I didn't even know I was getting it. But I looked at that bowl. I'm like, it's got to be for someone.
I didn't even know there was going to be an actual golden dog bowl thing. Like I thought that was pretty cool, but
I honestly didn't think you were going to be able to take that with you. I thought they reused it year to year.
Just as a prop.
I mean, it weighs like 50 pounds. It's crazy.
Is this solid gold?
It's solid brass. It's like you can kill somebody with that thing.
It's like you got the 200K and like a whole gold bar also.
But I was watching you. You were behind me. You were in front of me. And Sheep was in front of me, and you were like a little bit behind to the back. And I'm sitting there with the guy. I mean, honestly, like, I've never missed one of Josh's and Hayden's shows. I've been watching them since day one. And this guy's sitting next to me with that voice that I'm so familiar with. He's like, he was freaking out. And then, the whole thing came. I don't even know if you guys. The whole thing came down to that onside kick.
Yeah.
Yep.
You would have won if that onside kick was successful. That would have.
You think? Because I still was behind like 10 points.
Yeah, but anything could have happened.
Yeah, and
could happen.
I thought like anything could happen, but I still thought it was a little, even if they got the onside kick, like I mean, 10 points, like even like a passing touchdown, still 4 for Allen. It would have taken like an Allen to Shakir touchdown for me to actually win, I think, but it
Well,
would it was crazy regardless.
I'm, I'm so superstitious and so Italian. I was like, there's no way anything good could come my way. And then Dave, your colleague, he put his hand on my shoulder. He's such a nice guy, and it's like, and I believe him. And he goes, I've run the Sims. I've run the Sims, and I've run them again. I've run them again. He goes, it would be a miracle for you not to win. A
And I mean,
mathematical miracle.
he
And
was
I
pretty
believed him.
accurate.
Yeah, I believed him. I believed him. So I let it go a little bit after that. But man, what a day.
So did you take the check home?
No, they're sending me everything. Forget about how would I take the bowl home?
That's true.
I often get taken aside by TSA, with the beard and I look like I travel with a manifesto, I guess, or something. No, they're gonna send me. They were so nice. Newman was so great, and that guy Oaks, man. Like if when the apocalypse comes, I'm finding that guy because he gets shit done. Because I was freaking out. We had no red zone. We were watching the Miami Jet game. I'm like, this is not okay. I love the red zone. Anyway, so all right.
Yeah.
I guess I'm more excited about this than I thought I was.
Well, yeah, it's great to relive this. So just to finish up the sweat there. So yeah, basically it came down to this last drive. There was the last game going on. Buffalo at the Rams. There's basically no way for Buffalo to win the game other than a miracle onside kick. But so they started driving. I don't know. I don't even remember how much time was left when they started that drive. If it was under 2 minutes,
It was right around 2 minutes.
yeah,
That's what I remember.
So basically, there's a couple of pass plays. Josh Allen's looking unstoppable. There's like no reason for the Rams to even really try to stop him other than dignity. So yeah, I was sitting in second, and Patrick was within a touchdown.
I was seventh, I think, at that time.
Okay, he was seventh. And after the first couple of passes, I said to my wife, "I'm like, we're getting third," because it just felt that way. And then
the PI call was the big one.
Yeah, so it got down to 4th and 15. This is the moment I'm going to remember forever. Is the 4th and 15, and I don't even remember who was the receiver.
Shakir. I think he might have been looking at Shakir.
Okay, so 4th and 15, passes it, and it's no good. And I started celebrating, like, just for a moment. I don't know who was right next to me, but somebody turns to me and goes, and because I turned around and like, oh, and someone's like, pass interference. And then from there, I was like, okay, I'm gonna need a moment. I'm gonna need a moment because there's no way that this is gonna end well. But thank you. Thanks to everybody that's saying congrats. But yeah, so that was my sweat experience. Took me about 2 days to, finally get over it. But the third place was,
a lot of money, man.
A lot of money. I got 17th also, so I definitely couldn't complain. And also, we can get into it here. So this was my team, the third place team. Darnold, double sack with Jones and Jefferson.
Wow.
Najee Harris, who scored an early touchdown. Yep. And then Juwan Jennings, who had a couple of touchdowns.
Yes, he did.
So probably the funniest story about this draft is I had the Juwan Johnson last round, and as someone who is correlation and stack pilled, I'm 100% sure that if I was given the decision between Kyle Pitts and Juwan Johnson, I would have gone Kyle Pitts on this last pick as the run back to the Minnesota game. So I can't complain about any late game heroics by Josh Allen, because I got lucky on my own just getting this team together.
So you had Kyle Pitts in the queue and you got taken right before you.
Yeah, I had both of those guys queued up.
Wow.
And yeah, thank you, Shag Nasty. Not
Wow.
words I thought I'd ever be saying in my life, but thank you, Shag Nasty. So yeah, this just to run through.
Yeah, I see. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, no problem. To run through, this was the final draft of the night.
Yep.
I had early on in my drafting night gone heavy, or I had drafted on the right side of the board quite often, and my strategy going, or the strategy I developed on the fly, I had thought about it ahead of time, was going heavy on people in the first round if the situation came out. So basically, if the idea was if that person went off, I would have multiple shots at a top end outcome. So I went heavy on Trey McBride. I got him in the first 3 drafts that I did.
Wow.
I think I picked him as early as 8 or whatever. I just felt like tight end had a huge drop off after him. Just after that, it was kind of flat. Obviously, these other guys were fine, but as compared to what running back did, and then what wide receiver did, I felt like I could find that production later. So that was just my idea, going with Trey McBride. Then in the 4th draft that I was in, Viper, you were right ahead of me, and you took Trey McBride ahead of me. So I was thinking about going 4 for 4 there, but then that ended up being a Jalen Hurts team, which didn't do much of anything. But then, so I had 6 drafts. The 5th draft, I actually I missed my first pick.
You missed it, like you autoed it?
Yeah, so through just because
Me too.
as the
We
night
both
had
did.
as the night had gone on, and everybody, we were getting colder and wetter, and everybody started to scatter, and just through miscommunication, he thought I was there to start the draft, and then I wasn't. But I had 4th pick in that one, and I got Justin Jefferson in draft number 5, and I built a different Sam Darnold team that ended up in 17th. But at that point, I had Bijan Robinson and Justin Jefferson kind of at even. I wanted them kind of the same. Based on the earlier drafts that I was doing, having so much Trey McBride and then taking Justin Jefferson, I felt like I was really behind the field on these like elite running backs. So for me, it was I don't know why I ultimately went with Justin Jefferson on this one, because I had this feeling as the night was wearing on, and the running backs were taken higher and higher each draft as the night went on. Like I felt running back envy to the field, but thankfully I got Justin Jefferson here. I had Najee Harris kind of in the same tier as these other running backs, so I was happy that he went back. And then because I was feeling the running back envy, I don't know if you guys felt this, but basically if you were drafting on the right side of the room, by the time the 3rd round came to you, like I didn't want any running back that was left.
Yeah, I did not like the right side of the board, and all 3 of my picks were the right side of the board, but I ended up working out, obviously, but I did not like the right side of the board during that draft.
Yeah, so
this board that you're looking at, I would have never known this, but Crash Rich actually contacted me, which is a major thing. I mean, we weren't sure if he was real, but he said that I know you did this right because this is the draft. He said you came in first and last. This is the 108th draft.
Okay.
This one here.
Oh, this is the one that placed 108th.
Yeah,
last place.
I'm pretty sure.
I'm surprised with seeing with Charbonnet, Adams, and Rome because I felt like they all did decent. But
wait, that might not have been it. Okay,
might be a different one.
Matter. But I did come in last. That's for sure. And and Sheep was shaking the couch. That's also for sure.
Okay, yeah, we should maybe address this.
Cranking. I mean, I have these things on. I couldn't hear your music, but you were cranking some fucking dark metal, man.
So
I did see you over there, just like in your own zone drafting.
I know, and I do feel. I heard you say on the Badge Bros that I was shaking the whole couch, and I know my legs were shaking, and it was just just nervous habit. I had no control over that, so I apologize to anyone out there if I was throwing you off your game sitting next to me on that couch.
I had a drummer in my band that was just like you, and he just died actually also, and he would shake the fucking couch before the gig, because he was playing the song before it happened. You were man. You were in there, and I love that. But I went to the living room because I couldn't take my fucking shoes being soaked anymore.
Oh yeah, that was the rain was crazy.
And my laptop, I don't know how it survived it because it was on the floor. And I mean that would have ended my night, But it's all meant to be. And what a great group of people! The competitors, the people that work there, everybody was so gracious. I mean, that was an intense atmosphere, man. That's a fucking lot of money.
Right.
And people were rooting for me so hard. It's unbelievable. I'm so touched by that.
I was honestly surprised how friendly and casual it was on like the competitor side of things, because like you said, this was a lot of money, and I was there to, I think we all were there just to enjoy it too. So I think after the fact, it made sense knowing me, like getting the personalities of the people. It made sense, but there could have been some like hard ass people if that could have been. I don't know what they would have done, but it's just like to a person, everybody was friendly before a draft. Everybody's like, "Oh, you all right? Are you online?"
Everybody.
I even feel like some people had like already discussing their teams after the draft with more drafts to come. It was just like that. Yeah. That was kind of surprised me.
Well, if you guys watched did you watch the Badge Bros the night before when we were drafting goal line stands on stream?
Yeah, I watched it after the fact. Yeah.
No, I mean, but if you watched it that night, I tipped my hand completely. I did the team that I was gonna do. And they were like, "Why are you picking Sam fucking Darnold in the third round?" I'm like, "Because that's where I'm picking him."
Is that so? Did you actually when you won? Did you take Darnold in the third?
I don't remember. Because I swear to God, it's a blackout.
Well, that's how it felt for me. For me, a lot of it was such an enjoyable experience, but even so much of it, it feels like I don't remember a lot of parts because I was just like. I went to bed at 3 a.m. both nights. I was just in my laptop. I was, I felt like I blacked out during that trip.
It was so much stimulation. And that MTV house, I can't believe the house they got.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we paid for it, right?
It came out of the budget. Yeah. Or the pick 'em,
Yeah, but I guess all those, those 14 hours a day that I'm in draft rooms paid for that house.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw up here in the chat a link to the Underdog. There's a 6-minute video that's really awesome that goes, shows a lot of the house and a couple interviews. and some shots from the sweat day. But I saw when I did watch that like later that night, Viper. Then when you took Darnold that early, like I was on Minnesota too. Obviously, I ended up with two teams. So going into it, I had 3 stacks that I wanted. I wanted a double Arizona stack, a double Minnesota stack, and a double San Francisco stack.
That's exactly what I wanted. Exactly.
The San Francisco, I don't think I would have got to, but the Vikings were like, the reason why I hated the right side of the board was because I wanted Jefferson so bad. So what I ended up doing is I love that game so much is I had 2 of the 3 drafts I had Addison. I had Addison on another team as well. And I'm pretty sure the Allen team, I forget if it was that team or another one, but I did like a separate stack. Even though I took a different quarterback, I still took like London and another like Vikings or something like that. I stacked that game in addition to whatever other stack I had because I just wanted that game so bad. Oh, Hawkinson. I had Hawkinson, Addison, and Mooney or London or something like that. But
wow.
Okay. So
Sheep. This could have so easily been you though with Aaron Jones versus Addison.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm looking at this team. I'm like, how did he not win?
That's
a really good team.
If you look at this team, I instead of Juwan Jennings, I could have taken Jordan Addison, but I don't think I ever was going to get to a triple stack of a team at this event just because it was such a small field.
Right.
Well, so that I thought because it was a small field, so I was ready to go in. If I would have gotten the spot where I could have got Jefferson, my plan in this draft was to go Jefferson. I was going to triple stack. I was going to do Jefferson, Addison, and Hawkinson. Obviously, Hawkinson wouldn't have paid off, and Darnold. I was trying to completely stack because I felt like because it was a small field, as long as you capture that game and it goes off, then you can win it with just an overstack.
Okay. Yeah.
I was so strong because Jefferson was so due. It was so many weeks where I that's funny that because most people are more risk adverse than that because that's not what the numbers were saying.
Oh, so I mean, close your ears, Patrick. But the Blitz had Minnesota projected a lot higher than ETR. So
that week they did
this week, yeah.
Oh, this week, like weeks.
No, sorry, the week of the event. So
okay, gotcha. It was because it was like a dome game. Was it a dome game that year?
Yep. So a little bit of my edge given away was, each week that I qualified and then this week there was a situation that the Blitz had higher than ETR, and basically not that I'm saying that it was more right. It was just that I knew in most cases the field was using ETR projections. So it got me slightly different than the field, and when it comes to those like couple of points, it's basically meaningless really in terms of projection, but it was just for me a way to get different than the field that that's how I played all year. So that's what led me to Minnesota that week. It had Sam Darnold like projected the same as Josh Allen this week.
Oh, that's crazy. That's wild.
And like you said, it's probably the dome.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure with the Blitz projections, if a game's pretty much in a dome, like those players are just get projected higher. And I mean, there's definitely, it makes sense why dome games
right. I'm
likely to shoot out.
Totally not here to debate which one is better than the other because
I'm not on the projections team though. So it's
right.
Everyone has their own projection sources, and I think the Blitz definitely. I've like way back, like 5 years ago. I'm pretty sure I used the Blitz. So I don't have it anymore. But.
So yeah, just to quick wrap this up. Otherwise, we'll end up talking on one board forever. I never got my San Francisco double stack, so that's how I ended up with a couple of shares of Juwan Jennings throughout my thing. But I had basically wanted to put Kittle and Jennings together with Purdy on a team. I didn't get that, and obviously I got plenty of my Arizona exposure as I went over. So let's get off my draft. Let's go here. Second place team, Patrick. We kind of looked at it before, but why don't you just kind of walk us through? Well, I know you said you blacked out, but maybe looking at it, it'll help you remember your thoughts here.
So to be honest, I bet you if these were simmed out, my team would not rate well because I didn't really. I thought getting like an earlier running back was pretty valuable, especially in like a sharper 12-man draft where it's likelier for them to go earlier. But I really want the two players I wanted were Kamara, who luckily I didn't get him that week because he didn't do great, and Jefferson. Those were like the two that I really wanted early on. Didn't get them, and then I didn't like. I'm trying to think of who went after that. A lot of people did get for like Evans. I didn't really like that game. I liked the under in that one, and then Josh Allen, like it was like the highest total, and I was just like, okay, well, this is how I'm just going to get my edge on the field by just taking the elite quarterback, and then I like some of the later receivers, so I was fine with kind of punting that off and just taking my shot on the guys I liked. So I knew if I got Allen, I was going to stack him with either Shakir or Amari Cooper. Glad I did Shakir in this one. But then, like I said, I like that. What's that?
51-yard touchdown. I remember it. That I remember.
I was watching. That was right. That was kind of when everything. I was like, okay, maybe I do have a shot at this min cash. That was my thought process at the time. But then, London Hawkinson. That was again. I mean, I had London Hawkinson and Addison. So, like I said, I liked that game, and so I still kind of stacked that one up. Of course, stacked Allen with Shakir, and then I didn't have my running back yet. So I think I might have been the only team with Warren.
I think that's true.
And I just liked one that if I had the only team with him, and obviously it didn't pay off or whatever, but I thought, he might have been involved more going down the stretch of the playoffs if they wanted to keep Najee fresh. But
yeah, and
it didn't work out.
Pickens out of the game.
And then Pickens. I didn't know that at the time, but I did think he was still questionable. So I forgot that did play into my decision that maybe Jaylen Warren would get more receiving work. So
yeah,
that's a ballsy pick, Jaylen Warren, man.
It was, it could have been Chuba Hubbard who didn't get drafted in this draft.
That's going for the gold right there.
But
I think that's a smart pick. I honestly do.
Yeah, I think it's great. And if you look at it, because surprisingly, all three of us had a Pittsburgh running back on our team. You had Jaylen Warren. He had 8.2 points. And Najee Harris had only 11.3. So it wasn't like
Warren had a goal line carry too, just didn't get it.
Oh, God.
Got it.
Oh, I'm so glad I didn't see that.
Yeah, but, that was kind of my thought. Because my other team, again, I had the other side of the board, and it was a Hurts team. So I was like, okay, well, I got Allen on one, and then I went Hurts on the other one. So I just was like, okay, well, I'm just going to – and then my third team, I think, was Will Levis. So that team just – it was probably in the back of the pack there.
Yeah, Will Levis. He's not going to be playing this week.
No.
I just need to be a total dick and say I would have won the fucking goal line stand. Patrick, were you watching the games this week when Josh Allen did that jump shot to Dalton Kincaid, and then they took it back at the last minute with a non-hold, but they called the holding?
No, I did not see that.
He did it. He didn't even pass the ball. He shot a jump shot at Dalton Kincaid, and I was up on top, and they said holding. I was like, oh.
And that would have been the goal line stand that week?
This past weekend, yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I mean, these games are crazy.
I don't try to. I can't watch like that. That at the Dog Bowl, I was telling because my +1 was, updating. I was just like I'm pretty sure I was like building showdown lineups for the Chiefs Chargers game that night because like my nerves. I was like I can't because I've seen people you're in first and then you come out, and I know I was the opposite. I was kind of in the back of the pack coming up, but I just didn't want to know. I didn't want to know, oh, I'm in second and I'm back down to 7. I was just, don't talk to me. I just want to just wait till it's over almost. And so I kind of came over for the last like minute when it was the onside kick, but my nerves were just it was too much.
Yeah, I barely ate any of that free food that they had that day.
Same.
I didn't either. I really wanted it.
I had no appetite.
No, well, because Minnesota got up early, like early on, I was in first and second at one point, and I'm like, well, my day's shot. I'm not going to be able to eat.
But you were barely looking at the board. You were looking to the side for the most part.
Yeah, and I also wasn't
at that board.
I also wasn't checking teams, or at least until like the last 20, 25 minutes. I did not look at what was behind us. I was just looking, occasionally looking at the big leaderboard they had in front of us because I couldn't, and I'm not exact opposite on Sunday. I'm like refreshing every day or every, 10 minutes.
When I'm at home, I think I'm the same. Like I will refresh a little bit more. I still try not to, but I do it more at the Dog Bowl. I really was trying to just watch the game and know what players I had, but I did not want to see the leaderboard at all.
Well, I couldn't miss it.
I think weren't you first from the beginning to the end of the day? Like your name was on top.
I was. There was a moment, a decent sized moment where she passed me and then passed me for second, and then I came back. I was first and second for a long time, and that was not good because I was like, "There's no way, nobody's winning first and second."
Yeah.
But then Amari Cooper saved my fucking ass. Amari Cooper.
Let's do it. Let's get over to your draft. Apologies, I was not in his draft, so the picture is taken off of a screen. So I apologize for that.
I'll try. I should have probably went to. I don't have it, so.
But no, before we get into it, from the start, or I missed the first hour or so. My wife and I were out visiting this terrible museum that ended up being a waste of money, but we don't need to get into that. We don't need to do that. But
were we at the clock tower?
No, okay, we'll get into it. It was the Museum of Illusions.
Don't get out of here.
Is what it was called.
When the red zone is on for the Dawg Bowl?
I was trying to enjoy it. My wife spent the previous day going. She went to the clock tower. She went to the aquarium. She did not come to the draft house. She said, "I do not need. There's not any amount of free food or drinks that will get me to come listen to you talk about drafting for a day."
She was such a cool lady. Really, she was. Anyway, but go ahead.
So yeah, I wanted to spend a little bit of time with her, and I didn't know if she was actually going to come watch football with us. So I did. She did come along, and I made her. I said, "Please come. I need an outlet here." But yeah. So early on, when I got there in the hour, looking up, you and I, Viper, basically had our two Minnesota stacks in the top 10 the whole day, so till the end. So yeah, there was no like being not nervous. So but yeah, if I don't know, can you see your team here, Viper?
I think I know the team. I'm looking at so I took Jefferson first, right? And then George Kittle. I did not know that. Wow. Kittle also saved me. He didn't score, but he
had a big game.
Ball a lot.
Tight ends did nothing that day.
Yep, that's right. And then Najee Harris went in for that very early touchdown, which was comforting. And
I think this is probably the latest Najee went to on the day. I don't know that for a fact, but he was getting taken in round 2 almost every draft.
the running back pool was pretty weak from what I remember.
Yeah.
And then I will tell you something. I was researching my eyes out for this, and there's this site called Datarama, because I was coming in with the I really liked Jennings that day, as you did.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to probably do a Jefferson Jennings team with Kittle, Jennings stack, and just Darnold and Jefferson. But there was this little blurb from this Datarama. I don't know if you know them on Twitter, and they said that Jennings is one of the lowest efficient receivers when it comes to cover 3, which Chicago uses more than any other team. So I was like, you know what, I'm pulling out on Jennings.
Okay.
And I went with Addison instead. And that was just, I had this big notepad of all my data that I collect during the week, and that one just stood out. During the draft, I was thinking of it, and it turned out they were wrong because Jennings had a great day. But Addison,
they weren't wrong enough.
They weren't wrong enough. That's the bottom line. And then what's the last pick? Hey,
we got to shout out JMC here, fellow competitor, also fellow awesome dude.
Awesome dude. And what was the last pick? I can't really see it.
It's Amari Cooper. So I think this is the one that he definitely wasn't drafted every draft. He had not been a super big participant in the offense since going to Buffalo. We saw last week he got 0 points. So how did you land on Amari Cooper?
I mean, like the same. I had the same feeling about him that I did about Jefferson. I was like, first of all, why did they bring this guy over there?
Yeah.
That was, and this was the time. It was indoors. He was finally healing up, and he got 13 targets that day.
Yeah,
and it probably saved my day. But I just had a feeling. It was just like one of those little whispers, that are louder. And I mean, we were drafting him on the No Strip Nez like constantly, and he was completely disappointing every week.
Yeah.
But then that game was so crazy. When you think about that game, that Buffalo LA game was. You're not going to see another game like that for years.
No,
I mean, during the regular season, it was insane. I mean, like Josh Allen was Superman.
Yeah. Cooper ended up with 12.5 points, just for reference there.
12.5 points, but he had 13 targets. Am I right about that?
I don't know. I don't have that.
Yeah, he had 13 or 14 targets that week.
Crazy. Which was completely off the charts. So,
yeah.
I mean, I think I had the right mix in my headphones. That's my only answer to you.
Well, it looks like you got even extra lucky because JMC here, who had to pick right before you, did the exact same thing I was talking about in my draft. I had my second chance to take Justin Jefferson, and I thought about taking Bijan Robinson, and I didn't go with it, but he did that. He had already had a Justin Jefferson team, and decided to go with Bijan. So it's just crazy, how these things shake out, and just how I feel like I did good, but I also feel like I got like super lucky.
That's how I felt.
I mean, there's got to be some luck to it, right? I mean,
yeah.
How the fuck did I wind up with 6 drafts? I had no idea. and just to show you what sickos JMC and I, we're in a draft together as we're talking to you.
Good.
We're doing a goal line stand, as we're talking to you, both of us. So in the same draft.
Excellent.
Anyway, so
All right. Anything else on this draft, Viper?
I mean, I would be lying because I don't remember. I knew I was going in with Jefferson. I knew that.
Yeah.
And Addison was a last minute thing, and Sam Darnold has carried my best ball teams all year.
Yeah.
I have so many Sam Darnold teams, and if you think about it, in August, there was very little evidence for that at the time that he was going to have this kind of year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you basically had at that point you just had the weapons around him that looked nice.
Yeah.
Kevin O'Connell was definitely that he elevates these QBs, I guess.
Such a good
I'll
coach.
say like I know that, but I've heard people say that.
Yeah.
It's also true.
Yeah.
All right, so maybe this is obvious, but as we wrap up here, Patrick, what's one thing maybe that we haven't mentioned that you're gonna remember for a long time about the whole thing?
I think just like the feeling of going from thinking that you just like completely whiffed like 3 entries and then going from that within like 45 minutes to coming in second place. I mean, it was like the craziest swing of emotions. Like I didn't really know how to process it. And for like even a few days after, I was just kind of like, did that like actually happen? Like it was. So that's probably what I'll remember the most. Just being in like a complete state of shock almost.
And Viper, you've shared it on the Badge Bros, but you got to tell the Hawk story.
Yeah, this is fucking crazy. My language is very. I'm not feeling good. So I was doing my research, like I was saying, and like the Marriott had those windows.
Yep.
Where you can. I don't know if you're on the side where you could see the Apple ad, Apple
Yeah.
Intelligence.
Yeah.
Well, there's no ledge on those windows, and hawks are my spirit animal. They come up to me in Central Park all the time. It's crazy. And if I'm hiking, forget about it. In upstate New York, I see more hawks than you can imagine. And a hawk flew down and looked me in the eye, and then just flew to that garage while I was doing my research. And I'm like, something's going to happen today. And then I go in, and that guy was disqualified. I won't say his name, but we all know his name.
Wait, no, I don't know.
I don't actually, but we don't need to talk about it.
I don't want to get anyone in trouble, really.
Yep. Yeah.
But I'll send it to both of you, and you're going to be like, "Holy shit!"
Okay.
Okay.
Or you could just look it up, by the way, on the.
Okay.
Or maybe they took it off. I don't know. But I'll send it to you guys. And
Okay.
can I send it on this thing or no?
No, don't worry about it right now.
Anyway, yeah. Tell the story. So the hawk, and I was like, something's happening here. And that's what happened. And you know what the crazy thing about Underdog is? Is that money was in the account before I got back to the hotel.
It is.
It
ridiculous.
was crazy fast. It was crazy fast.
That's insane.
Yeah, I didn't want to check. Continuing the sweat is like we got back to the hotel. My wife and I, we found a little restaurant near the hotel because we wanted to get like actual food in us. And yeah, I checked there. I'm like, oh, it's like already in the account. It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. The whole thing's ridiculous, actually. It's hilarious. So now we got So I'm really glad that we did this because I'm kind of like putting together pieces that I don't remember.
Yeah, I know that. I was hoping to get this together. Most people have already moved on from the Dawg Bowl, but we can at least take one more week, the three of us, and reminisce and enjoy it. While everybody else moves on to playoff best ball, and I'm sure we'll all get there soon.
Oh, I'm so into playoff best ball right now.
Okay. Yeah, I'm already in it.
All right, yeah, and I'm knee deep in baseball at this point. So,
And I've seen Patrick in every freaking goal line stand I do. So
Yeah, this week I went heavy with the goal line stands. This will be the first week that I just max it. So
yeah.
we'll see me there.
All right, so
well, I got to go and cough for like an hour straight.
okay,
so.
yes, we appreciate you fighting through. JMC, awesome to meet you. Vogel is here. This is a deep cut from a random story on a draft about how I hate goats. But this was awesome. We'll let you guys go. Viper, go. Thank you for fighting through the cough. Patrick, it was awesome talking to you. So for the all three of us, thank you everybody for hanging out and indulging us as we, being a little bit self-indulgent here. But hope you got some enjoyment from the stories and motivate you to, maybe take a few shots next year. So everybody have a good weekend.
Thanks for having me.